Tetra Solar. When I started, we had not even 20 people. And then after 2.5 years, we had 60 in teams, with an organization, onboarding, reaping all the efficiency gains and making things easier and smoother.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Excellent. So Joachim, we've been chatting about quite a lot of things before this, but maybe to kick things off, you are quite a veteran. You have worked in solar and solar related topics for the last 20 years. So you've covered solar, storage, HVAC as well. What's exciting you the most about the clean energy transition today?
Well, it's coming together. I guess back in the days, when I started, and I originally come from the semiconductor business. I moved into energy at a later stage. There were the individual disciplines. So HVAC was pretty much separate. It was not connected. Same with solar came up. Started back then. And what excites me most now is it's all coming together. So things are connected or becoming connected more and more. They interact or need to interact with each other. So I find this is a very exciting time.
Yeah, I agree. Many things are happening, and one keyword that I picked up on is connected or connecting. I think this year is the first year when everybody's talking about a bit more system-wide thinking, and when we are actually looking at not just solar, but we are looking at storage, we are looking at the grid, we are looking at the whole picture coming together, as you said. What's your take on this? Like, how has this year changed compared to last year, perhaps?
Well, obviously now people realize or started to realize that it's not an option. It's mandatory. It's a necessity. It's not that individual companies have not thought about these kind of things. So I remember when I started in the energy business or renewable energy business with a company called Wiesmann, we always have been talking about electrification of heat. So bringing electricity and heat together. That seems a very obvious concept now, as it is actually happening. Heat pumps are connected, with solar, with storage, with energy management, etc. But back then, these kind of things were really, really separated. So I started in the early days of 2009. I think, working on that topic. Having said that, you called me a veteran. You can also call me old. Obviously, comes with it. So the words of wisdom. Obviously, the technology has been available for a long time, but market development, and regulatory side of things, took quite a bit of.
Indeed, and regulatory is the keyword that everybody is kind of afraid of, or nobody really likes, and that we are really good at in Europe. What's your take on that? How does that actually help or hinder us in the whole energy transition?
Well, actually both. It just depends, at what point in time you check into it, or in what part of the value chain you are at a particular moment. So it's a very fluid concept, I would say. It's a necessity. Obviously, regulatory topics are mandatory. I remind we wouldn't have any feed-in tariffs without regulatory intervention. So that was very good to get the entire thing started. But obviously, as things are evolving, technologies are scaling, price downs, and availability, and technology in general is moving very, very fast. So regulation has to adapt to that, obviously. And there were some hits and some misses, but also some great successes, like the feed-in tariff, the Erneuerbare Energiengesetz, the EEG in Germany, which got copied to many other regions of the world and kickstarted the solar revolution, so to speak.
Yeah, and sometimes I'm playing this thought exercise with myself of, what would I do if I were a regulator? And then if one puts themselves in the shoes of the toughest job, because innovation is going at light speed, right? And regulation is always catching up or trying to catch up with these things. And some regulation can really help the industry, some can hinder, but it's really a difficult job to execute on, especially well.
Absolutely, I agree. Obviously, it's very easy to see it in a very critical light, but I do have a lot of respect for people who are engaging and who are helping and who are actively or proactively shaping the regulatory landscapes. There are a few organizations obviously, but also individual people. I do respect. It's a very difficult task, and I do respect people who spend time and effort, and also their put their heart into it, in order to make it happen.
And speaking of regulation, it begs the question to bring Solar Power Europe into the discussion, because they are kind of a connector between the regulators here in Brussels, and you are just around the corner in Frankfurt. But maybe to lead up to that, let's talk about your cycling challenge that comes with that, and that's.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've been into cycling for a long, long time. I started as a teenager, to cycle in a club, on the road, then moved into mountain biking, and well, in between, since then have used any type of bikes, or bicycles, and I tremendously enjoy doing that, and I had the opportunity, actually, that was 3 years ago, to join Tim Day, from Trina. He had come up with the idea, to rather than taking a plane, to go to Intersolar or Smarter E, to cycle, actually from London to Munich, for the conference, which is, well, a little bit more, than 1,000 kilometers, and well, I got to know Tim through that, and I joined him for a couple of days back in 2023. I really like the idea, I mean, raising awareness for climate change, for renewable energy. And also the idea, I mean, everybody is flying around all the time. Obviously that doesn't help your CO2 footprint. I really like this idea and the background to this. So then the next year, I joined again. This year, 2025, we made it a little bit bigger. So we had 6-7 people cycling, but a lot more people, to support. The idea basically is also, to do network meetups. So we have managed with Solar Energy UK. I have a meetup. We had a meetup in Strasbourg at the European Parliament. The year before, we had a meetup at the European Central Bank. We met with the head of climate change and her team. So the movement, or I don't know whether you want to call it a movement or an initiative, has grown. So we have more and more people also who want to sign up and do their own journey. So that's why we decided now for next year, for 2026, to actually people, they can register their own trip. So we have interests already. Last year we had one group who did a journey to zero ride from Berlin to Munich. We had one guy who organized a ride in Buenos Aires in Argentina, which was very nice. And we have just opened the communication basically. So you can check, you can see, you can register your own or join an existing ride. So there will be a ride again from London to Munich. Me personally, I will do a gravel ride from Frankfurt to Munich. But eventually I will join the other guys also on some bits and pieces of their ride from London. We're planning a stopover, but that's still kind of in planning phase and confidential at Solar Power Europe. Eventually again, maybe here in Frankfurt again. So let's see where that takes us. All of that obviously also it's for a cause. So we are supporting a charity with that. That is Solar Aid. Solar Aid, those are the guys they do solar lamps for Africa, so that school kids and children and families have light in the evenings. It's battery powered LED lights basically. So the money we raise through that initiative or that movement goes to Solar Aid. So that's basically trying to combine my passion for cycling with some professional networking and doing some good. I mean, cycling for a cause.
So we will make sure to link to that in the show notes below.
That would be fantastic. Absolutely.
And let's try to boost this network, and hopefully it's going to become even more global than it already is. But since we are talking about networks, you mentioned a couple of things here, networking during cycling. When it comes to that, you actually wore and are still wearing multiple hats, right? So you were in leadership, you were in advisory, you were in investor roles as well. How has that shaped your view of the industry? Because I think you're viewing the same problem from a little bit of a different lens.
Yeah, it's not only a little bit different. It's really a 360-degree view. I do have. So, I mean, originally I'm an electrical engineer, so I'm a techie. I'm a techie at heart. But moved into business. More and more. Over the span of my career. And I mean, that is just you cannot go around it, in order to scale technology. And that is what I'm really passionate about. Scaling technologies and services, and business models. You need capital. So at some point, I also started, to look into that, established a network, and that obviously completely different interests. And well, I see my job as an advisor or as an independent board member or a venture partner. I see my job, to align, the capital, with the technology, and the other way around. Obviously also, I mean, technology is good, but well, you need to have scalable technology, etc. Then you need the capital. So it's a circle. So that is what I see as my main job. And having had the opportunity, and I consider myself lucky, to work also in different parts of the value chain in renewables, from manufacturing companies, materials, equipment, to systems integration, to project development, and also downstream, and engaging with the different stakeholders. I think I've got a good basis, to understand, what are the dynamics in the different parts of the value chain and what is required also, especially from a financing point of view.
And speaking of the early stage teams, is there a kind of uniform or unanimous problem that they typically face at an early stage, and how could that be solved with somebody experienced helping them, such as yourself, both on the business and maybe perhaps on the management level as well?
Well, I mean, obviously, that is what I'm doing as a venture partner and as an advisor, helping these smart, bright young founders, with good ideas to guide, and to support, with network, organizational development, business development. So there are a lot of people, with a lot of bright ideas. I mean, throughout Europe, actually, we have quite a vibrant startup ecosystem. Whether in Germany, UK, France, or also, for example, in the Baltics, where I have been active quite a bit. I mean, having been the CEO of Tetra Solar, helped to establish myself there and build a network. So that's how I see things. I mean, these young, motivated and bright people and engaged people, they need some sort of guidance and also a network, obviously, they can access.
Indeed. And I mean, from my personal experience, you really have two types of founders, the technical and the non-technical ones, right? And both need a counterweight to their skill set to be able to scale that business. And, perhaps sometimes the technical guys are really good at the tech side, but they really go deep and they really zoom in on one problem on a really, really deep and technical level, while the non-technical guys are more generalists, but they also need to be counterbalanced by the attention to detail and to be able to deliver something that's working really well and that does the job really well. But what's your experience with that?
Well, I mean, founder team is incredibly important. Not only from the skills point of view and from the experience and the background, but also chemistry. Obviously is super important. People need to connect. I mean, let's be clear about this. If you are a founder, you will spend a lot more time with your co-founder and the team, than with your friends or your wife or your girlfriend. So chemistry is incredibly important. And picking the right co-founder, also is critical. I mean, it happens, that co-founders, fall out after a certain period of time. Sometimes, after 6 months, sometimes after 12 months, 2 years. So it's important, to really connect, to the person. And also, obviously, to have complementary skills, on the founder team.
Indeed, a good friend of mine keeps saying that it's a good marriage or a second marriage that you have, and you need to treat it as such, right? It's a person, as you mentioned, you're spending most of your waking hours with, and also it can have quite a lot of impact on your personal life as well. So it's quite a challenge. And you mentioned Tetra Solar as well. I guess it begs the question to segue into PVKs, right? So they started with that project. And how do you see kind of the uniqueness of the ecosystem in the Baltics to support these kind of companies, right? PVKs is one of the most successful companies in the solar business. What is the kind of secret sauce that they have that other countries or perhaps ecosystems lack?
Well, I mean, the Baltics, they are fully digital. I'm always impressed. Whenever I arrive in Vilnius or in Tallinn or in Riga or any other place, they've got a fantastic network infrastructure. Got even like a private side, they got 1 gigabit connections. I'm still waiting for my fiber optic connection here in Frankfurt, which I have applied for. I think it feels like ages ago. So anyway, so they've got a really good infrastructure in terms of network, internet, etc. And digital services. I mean, governmental services, anything. I mean, you're now anyway quite used to order food. In the Baltics, this goes far and beyond that. You can basically do in Estonia, for example. You can even register a company. Completely. So they are very strong on the digital ecosystem, and that obviously helps. For startups. For agile startups and technology startups and others. To develop and to scale. There's also an investors community. So it's quite a vibrant ecosystem.
So the components are there, and those components are actually working well together. That's quite a unique combination, right? Which we don't typically see in Europe. We have quite a lot of siloed ecosystems on a national, perhaps even on the regional level. Which we should try to break down. And I think this new initiative of Europe Inc. or the EU Inc. A type of setup of companies hopefully will help us on that path. But when it comes to the startup side of things, what kind of opportunities are you the most excited about, perhaps in solar or renewables today?
Well, it goes a bit along the lines, of my experience or of my own journey. Just to give you an example, a couple of initiatives or a couple of companies I'm supporting is in the utility scale solar and BESS space. There is still throughout the value chain, quite a few things, which are possible, to improve. Again, talking about digitalization, and my background, from hardware, moving into software, moving into services. That is really what I'm trying here to bring together, basically. So in this case, scalability. I'm a scale up type of person. That's when I typically come in to help companies. They have already the first revenues, and I help them to set the stage for the scale up. And in terms of, to be a little bit more concrete, what I see, it's on the skills and expertise side of things. Now we're digging already quite deep into the individual topics. For example, storage and hybridization. A lot of people are talking, or everybody is talking about it. It's a necessity also. It's not an option anymore. It has not become an option anymore. We have to do it. And to bring together the expertise and skills, obviously, is an important topic. So that's one of the activities I'm supporting with Fiat Lux, basically matching expertise on the technical side, but also on the project development level, with the right projects, the right investors. And that can be very generic, but that can also be very specific. So finding the right specialists, is not always as easy as it seems. A lot of people have experience. They have a contact list, people they call on, but with now all the changes happening, and moving from solar standalone, to solar and BESS, hybrid co-location, now integrating wind, and eventually other things, dynamic electricity tariffs, trading, revenue stacks, etc. There is a need, to connect to match, the right expertise. I mean, the complexity in these kind of projects, has increased, tremendously. And if you want to stay on top of things, you have an interest, and that is the problem, which is addressed, through basically a B2B marketplace, for solar and BESS expertise, or hybrid expertise, So that's on one end, just to give a little bit more concrete example, The other one is, the design, and being the CEO, or having been the CEO of Tetra Solar, design services, and technical advisory, supporting companies, with calculations, electrical, mechanical, etc., civil engineering, but also drawings, etc. I figured, there's a bit of a gap, in terms of the scalability. Consultancy is always related, to people. So the only way to scale, obviously, is to deploy more teams, which is good and which is possible. Definitely. We have succeeded, with that, at Tetra Solar. When I started, we had not even 20 people. And then after 2.5 years, we had 60 in teams, with an organization, onboarding, reaping all the efficiency gains and making things easier and smoother. But scalability, obviously, on a software platform, is something completely different. And that is well, also in terms of bringing the financial world together. And again, I'm coming back to, well, I'm trying to have a holistic view on things, aligning the capital or the financial side, with the technology and with the project, so to speak. That is a company called Fitgate, which the basic idea is to provide optimization from a very early stage on a platform with consistent data flows and integrating financial as well as the technical parameters. So that is also really exciting in terms of like finding more values in projects, and addressing the increasing complexity again, of hybrid projects. It is not as simple as back in the days, where you had a feed-in tariff, for a solar installation, which was government backed, and guaranteed, for 20 years. Now we are talking dynamic electricity tariffs. We are talking merchant. We are talking PPAs. We are talking revenue stacks. With especially with BESS. Which are very different from country to country or from region to region, and also very much, well, not guaranteed. But you need to be able to adapt. So that's the type of problem. Fitgate is trying to address, basically, to make sure, to find the most optimum design, and bringing that together, with the financial optimization, whether you optimize on CapEx, whether you optimize on NPV or on IRR, Well, different projects have different requirements, and in order to streamline that, and well, also obviously applying smart algorithms, artificial intelligence, etc., to make that happen in, well, a very short period of time, rather than having multiple teams and multiple people doing iterations and ending up still with the same 5 scenarios, which they have done since they started doing this many years ago.
You've touched on a number of topics that I wanna react to. Firstly, if you are talking about the consulting versus the software business, right? The consulting business at the get-go, it's really nice because you have good margins, but it scales slowly. The software business has not so good margins at the early stages, but of course, it's much more scalable. And to transition from one to the other is quite a trick to do or balance those two aspects. And from my experience as well, which is quite similar to the solar design side of things, what I saw and what I still see in the industry is that there's still no gold standard of workflows, right? So if you are a solar developer, there is not a workflow that's universally accepted in the industry that you should at least shoot for. Everybody and especially larger or smaller company, the smaller companies are typically more chaotic in their workflows. The bigger companies do have their workflows, but they become way more rigid. So what would your advice be to those companies? What should be the right formulation of how to structure your business to be more efficient, more performant as well?
Well, I mean, be flexible, obviously. It's not only an organizational topic, it's also obviously a topic of the right tools and especially the digital tools. I think tools like PVK's or Rated Power or Glint, for example, have already, well, gone quite a long way. It's also a matter, obviously, of, well, if you look at the entire process from project development, how a design evolves. Speaking of which, well, I mean, there's, for example, a guideline for design or for EPC guidelines from Solar Power Europe, which has been published by one of the working groups. So maybe that would be a good reference point to, well, also have organizations like Solar Power Europe, or country specific solar associations or storage associations provide best practice guidelines for workflows. But in general, and that is, I'm a big fan of digital tools. And obviously the processes need to fit around that. And you have to break up these silos, whereby one department has been doing one thing, then handing over to the next department. I'm not going to name anyone. We all know who we are talking about. And obviously, the bigger the company gets, the more complicated things get. At the end of the day, you have to get your project through the final investment decision gate. And well, then there is someone I don't know, a director or VP standing in front of the investor committee, basically arguing his case, and he needs all the backup he can get, and obviously the flexibility also in order to provide these projects, which are the most feasible and obviously adding the most value, So that's my take on this, Break up these silos, bring things together, and allow collaboration at very early stage of the projects, and ensure the data consistencies, and also the risk mitigation, which goes with that, obviously,
Indeed, and best example that pops in my mind is from Tesla. They have co-located teams, so they have the project team and the engineering team always together. The simple analogy that Elon uses is that if you put your hand on the stove and it burns, you will take it away quite quickly. But if you put somebody else's hand on the stove and it burns, it's going to be a little bit of a longer process. So I think that's something that we should think about, and in terms of structuring companies and departments.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not going to comment on Tesla in particular. But I would agree. Obviously, it's working in an agile way, and in different organizational setups, and flexible setups, and the collaboration, between individual people and individual teams, that is what.
Indeed, and I mean that is also quite a challenge, because we are talking about, as you mentioned, covering the 360-degree view of the project or the company. That it really requires a super diverse set of skills that not many people have, especially if you are talking about renewables as well. So we are looking for a needle in a haystack, and that's why it's important to, coming back to your point, to have the right network to be able to reach out to those skill sets that you are actually needing for your project to succeed.
Yeah, I mean, you need both. Yeah, obviously you need the specialists, but you also need people, which are capable of bringing them together, bringing the different issues and the different interests, within a project, or within a project team, or within a company, to align, and to get it across the finishing line, whether that's the start of construction, or whether that's the financial decision gate, or anything in between.
And maybe if we segue into the macro side of things, how do you view the kind of three big blocks, US, Europe, and China, or broader Asia as a whole, in terms of the renewable gain? We've had quite a turbulent year. It's been quite interesting on all sides of the spectrum. What do you see, or could you highlight any of the positives in either of those blocks that perhaps the others could learn from?
Well, yeah, of course, maybe starting with Asia or starting with China, or not particularly China. I would say Asia in general. I've been really amazed, how quickly, they have been able, to scale up and ramp up technology and production, or especially production. Now, without going into any details, there has been and there will be a lot of discussion still going on around this. But I think they have gotten a few things right in terms of scaling up an entire, unfortunately at the expense of Europe, and somehow also the US, because a lot of the production and a lot of the technology has moved from Europe in particular to China or to Asia. So that's one thing. In terms of Europe, I mean, I'm mostly active these days in Europe, or with, I would say, the client and the stakeholder network in Europe, but obviously these companies, they do projects, all across the world, But my view from a European point of view is that, coming back to the regulatory side of things, we need more alignment, and we need more stability, I guess, that is one of the things, which might help or might be the solution, for the future. We have been off to a promising start, back in the days, or back in the early days, putting the regulation in place, and getting the entire industry started. Now along the way, things have become a bit more fragmented, and difficult. So we should, I'm not saying back to the roots, but take example of what we have achieved and build on that.
Makes sense. And you mentioned productivity and producing in Europe. That's a hot topic of the day or of the year, right? Everybody is trying to push for more things, more hardware being manufactured in Europe, which is quite a big feat. And I was actually talking to a good friend of mine, Dr. Radovan Kopesek from ISC Constance, and he's quite an expert on the topic. And his suggestion would be to actually work hand in hand with China, for example, to be able to gain and reap those gains of being able to manufacture at scale and just basically license those factory designs back from China, because perhaps that's going to save us a lot of time and a lot of costs as well, right? And if we can do that, it could be a possibility as well. But it depends who you ask. How willing are we to do that in Europe? It's a big question.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously a controversial one. Yeah, but at the end of the day, obviously, if you talk supply chain or resilient supply chain, it absolutely makes sense to manufacture also in Europe, or the surrounding states, like Turkey or, well, I mean, hopefully also at some stage Ukraine, for example, again.
Yeah, these things can change rather quickly. I was just chatting to a good friend of mine the other day about how Saudi Arabia scales storage. And back in 2023, he gave some data on. In 2023, they didn't have any storage. They built the first one in 2023. Today, where we are talking about gigawatt scale storage, today they have 13, which are near completion, and they are targeting 100 gigawatt hours of storage by 2030. So that's really blitzscaling, if you want to call that.
No, I mean the MENA area also is a very interesting area, and there are a lot of things happening, not only in Saudi Arabia, but in general. So also something to watch out. Listening to the Economist podcast this morning. That's what I do in the morning, first thing, after getting out of bed. Well, I mean, people talking about Saudi Arabia or the countries in MENA becoming the next digital hub, so to speak. A lot of investments is going into AI. A lot of investments is going into data centers. I said.
Indeed. And I mean, I think that's going to be a whole new vertical if we can open that up as well. I'm working with a data company on M&As, and what we also see that, the data centers, they are really a hot topic in the US, so they need all the power you can get. And also in the Middle East, they're picking up. But in Europe, we are still quite behind, and we are not really seeing or building large data centers to kind of power the AI, which is going to be necessary one way or the other. Because if, for example, coming back to the regulatory point, if we will, or we most likely will pass another legislation similar to GDPR and data hosting, we will need to have our own clusters. Otherwise, it's not going to fly. Unfortunately, even if it's digital, we will still be attached to the physical aspect of those technologies as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there is obviously good and bad, in these kind of regulations. But well, I mean, at least, I don't know, talking about data centers, at least in Frankfurt, for example, which is one of the main internet hubs, worldwide. By the way, it feels like there's construction going on all over the place, in the region, the Rhine-Main area, for data centers, So I have no data how that compares to the MENA or in the US, but it feels like there is an awful lot going on, and well, also in other countries, Portugal, for example, there's a big cluster. I agree. I mean, we need to have that here in Europe, and not only rely on other countries or other continents.
And so we've touched upon AI. Have you got any idea, purely on a speculative level, of what kind of efficiencies it would bring, or what could be the best use case, in solar and renewables to somewhat related to our work here?
Well, I've got a bit of an opinion on that, and that has developed, I would say, fairly recently. I have been really into AI since maybe 12, 18 only. So I'm still a bit of a youngster, so to speak, in that area. But I've been really amazed by what is possible. And so it is obviously also on the other side and not a solution to everything. Reaping efficiency gains. I gave you that example. I was talking about the FitGate example, the optimization, where if you do that manually, and that is entirely possible, you have multiple teams or multiple people you deploy for days or for weeks, sometimes to run iterations on different designs. With the help of algorithms and smart algorithms and AI, you can simulate hundreds or even thousands of scenarios within the space of a few hours. And then obviously picking the right one still requires some kind of manual intervention. Getting it down from weeks to hours. I mean, that's already quite something. That's a little bit more than the 10 time factors people typically talk about.
Indeed. And I mean, there are quite a lot of even more simple examples, just reading a long document and getting a summary out of it if you're in a rush, which most people are most of the time. It's a perfect use case that I use it for every single day, but it's something that's also evolving. And with the development of AI agents as well, I think this is only going to be taken to the next level, and it's going to be coming faster than we actually think.
Well, it's all, and to use that buzzword, agentic AI, so basically agents, and it's not about only doing the simple things, and sorry, I'm doing exactly the same, Peter, by the way, summarizing documents and things, I'm using it still a lot for that. But what really will make the difference, obviously, is to automate entire workflows and with no manual intervention. So building bots and building agents who can replicate an entire workflow and automate it and make it not only automated but also make it faster, more efficient and self-learning. It's the real holy grail, so to speak, to move forward.
And it could also help us, especially in Europe, because, as you can appreciate, we don't really have enough people, or we don't really have enough skilled people, right? And this could kind of bridge the gap in between, or at least temporarily to be able to get, those people who are really experts in a certain industry, could be training or teaching other people with or without AI to be able to perform at least, the mid to lower level of tasks in the particular field. And I think that's going to be a huge use case for us here, because I mean, we need all the labor that we can get in the solar and also a broader spectrum of renewables, right?
Yeah, not only there. I would say from an economic point of view in general. We need that. Yes, absolutely. And I mean, in Europe, demographic is definitely not helping. For that lack of skilled people. So it would be desirable. If AI could pick up some of that slack. So it will be very, very interesting. Obviously, a lot of people are discussing cases, which happened in the past. Looking back, to the industrial revolution, and then to the internet, etc. Around the 2000s, with the internet bubble, then as well. So it's very exciting times and very, very interesting times. And I'm really keen, to. I mean, now looking forward, to. What is next? 2030. I mean, that's just around the corner. And we have been talking about climate targets and things. And what needs to be done until 2030. It will be very exciting. To look back. Once we are there. What actually happened and how it happened.
Indeed. And on that note, actually, perhaps the most important question that arises in my mind, at least, is. What would be kind of the lesson that you would want to pass on to the next generation of people in solar and renewables? What is the kind of biggest lesson that helped you the most along your career?
Well, staying flexible, and staying agile, and flexible in terms of adapt to new situations or different situations, whether that's on the market side, on the regulatory side, or even within the particular company you're working with. Stay flexible, and be prepared to pick up new things, take initiative, engage, and be passionate about what you're doing.
Indeed. I mean, the flexibility is something that I think most companies and most people should definitely work on. It's probably the most universal skill you can have.
But it's difficult. It's not easier for everybody, or it's easier for some people than for others. I mean, it's difficult to break habits. It's difficult to break things in general. Whether that's a workflow or a process or a mindset. Obviously, Now, I wouldn't like to talk about breaking a mindset, but changing the mindset. So for some people, that's easier. For other people, it's more difficult.
Indeed, and us humans, we are quite change averse in most cases, so we don't really like the change, right? And this change is actually only accelerating. So it's going to be quite a challenge to keep up with, the changing landscape, not just in solar, but also in the whole world as a whole.
No, absolutely, yeah. And I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
And if you could have a guess or fast forward to 2030, what impact would you like to have made to solar and renewables by then?
Well, I mean, in terms of my contribution, my contribution as an individual is one thing, but the industry as a whole, I guess, that is what I'm striving for, so that the industry as such, can make an impact. So whether we're going to meet our climate targets or not until 2030, obviously would be desirable to meet them. I would like to play my part. That's what I'm trying. Well, on a daily basis, on small things, on bigger things, whether that's the journey to zero is just one thing, but obviously also with my work, aligning the capital, with the technology, to make it happen.
Excellent. And on that note, if you could give a shout out to the audience, what kind of people, companies, projects would you like to speak to?
Well, I mean, along the value chain, as I like to say, so that can from project development, to systems integration, to finance, to EPC companies, doing the actual construction, IPPs, utility companies, or individual off-takers, So happy to engage. It would be fantastic, to discuss, all these things, hybrid. Decarbonization of buildings on the other side.
And on that note, what would be the right way for people to reach out to you?
Well, I mean, one can find me on LinkedIn. That is one thing. I guess, that is the best way, to reach out. I'm trying to read all my LinkedIn messages. I'm also trying hard, to read all my messages, my emails, Slack or WhatsApp or whatsoever. But LinkedIn, I would say, is really the best way to make a first contact.
Excellent. So we will make sure to link to that in the show notes below. But Joachim, on that note, I guess our time is coming to an end. Any final thoughts that we haven't covered?
No, I think we've had a very thorough discussion. Main points really have been touched upon. So I'm open anyway. If anyone wants to reach out, happy to engage and discuss all of that in further detail.
Excellent, Joachim. I really appreciate your time. Thank you very much, and let's do this again soon.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.